sitting on a fitted. Straight up A-Leaf, hold it down, ain't gon' never quit it. Just fans got me tuning in, let my dogs get it. Southwest A-Leaf, Texas, throw down here and it's so infectious. We ride for the Houston Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, and them Texans.
How's it going, everybody? It's Carlos, your host of the Just Fans podcast, and I'm joined here like I am every week with one and only mother lover himself, Rios. How's it going, Rios?
Pretty good. And the other guy sucks. We hate him.
Another guy that never shows up. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. So our other host, Poppy, could not make it. He said he's sick or something like that. Whatever. He just doesn't want to hang out. Screw him. No. And hey, man, but it's okay because you know what? We got a special guest today. We got Harley Dugan from at TheLead _HOU right here, man. Harley, how are you doing, man? Thank you for joining us on the show.
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, man. Having a good time trying to get into my Houston Astros and see what the hell's going on with them. But overall, the vibe here in Houston is still always excited whenever it comes to the Houston Texans.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. That's the thing that we're super excited about. The Houston Texans have given us another, with the season that the Astros have had this season, it makes you feel good that you're a Texans fan right now. But honestly, before we start, I do want to give a big, not a big shout out, but I do want to express the Houston Texans community did lose somebody pretty important, somebody very meaningful to us. Any content creator that does anything for the Texans knows who Chris Royal was. C. Royal himself passed away this weekend, and our condolences go out to his family. It's a big loss for the Houston Texans community. So our prayers up for Chris Royal and his family. I got to say that we were one of the few. I don't know if you were there, Harley, or not when the H-Town Rundown did like their debut show as the H-Town Rundown, and they had us in there. And Chris Royal, we were, he was there, and he was always very welcoming to us, and even on the spaces, like everybody knows how the spaces go on Twitter. And Chris Royal, like he always had a take about something, which was the funniest thing. You could either agree or disagree with Chris Royal, but you knew you were going to get something out of Chris. So, honestly, big ups for Chris Royal himself, man. It's just, man, prayers
up for the family.
It prayers up for the family. It's just kind of it hit hard in the community. It hit hard. So, this show we dedicated to Chris Royal, honestly. And that's where we're at. All right, guys. So let's move on to our Astros. To our Texans, because obviously that's something that Chris would want us to do is talk about the Texans. So, actually, before we do that, Harley, let's get to know you a little bit, man. How did you get started with this whole thing with Texans content creation?
So if anybody ever wants to take the time and scroll all the way back to an old video with Ruben, it's an old video. It's when he first started, and there is just a random fold-up table and 4 chairs, and it's Ruben, Kenneth the Messenger, who's on Texans fan battle right now. Myself, Ruben, I already said Ruben, and my best friend Tapia. And that was my first ever video. We were talking about Texans free agents, and man, that video itself is just hilarious to get into. Because I have a hat on, and I guess it's the reason why I wear my hat backwards, because nobody freaking told me that my hat that was facing forward, the shade from my hat covered my face. So all you see is like those anonymous voices, like they're just in the black, that's me. I'm like, I think Jadeveon Clowney's going to be a freaking really good re-signing for the Tech. Like, I'm like, I'm rewatching. I'm like, why didn't anyone tell me anything? I mean, damn, come on, man.
You should have gone with that gimmick and just like expose your face later on for something.
I guess
that he was Smithers in the background smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, like Smithers from The Simpsons in the background smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was. You can't see my face unless you just have more past than 2020. That was my first exposure to YouTube, though. And wow, it was I enjoyed it. It's something I always loved. I always loved talking sports with people. I always loved talking Astros, Rockets, Texans. Everyone at school was like, "Oh man, if you want to know sports, you got to talk to Harley." And I'm like, "I'm not that great, okay? I just like shooting the shit. I mean, I love carrying a conversation about sports." And from there, it was like my best friend. His name's Jaciel Castillo. He had a YouTube channel. Stopped it, but he had a YouTube channel where he does magic. Yes, he's a magician. He knows how to do magic and all that good stuff. Almost reached 10,000 subscribers. Very successful YouTube channel. I to this day, I don't know why he stopped, because he was getting some crazy amount of views. We're talking near like 500K views to like reaction videos of America's Got Talent and stuff. Like he was doing his thing, man. And he was like, "Hey, why don't we do it? Hey, let's start it up." And I was like, "Cool." I just shot, and I was a lot skinnier then. But
weren't we all, Harley?
Just back of the wall, he had the camera. And if you look at my first video ever, it's like, wow, this looks professional. Yeah, because I'm using his equipment. and he's got his camera, got good lighting, And I watched that video, and I'm like, wow, I sound like a dumbass, because there was so much stuff I said that was wrong. I was so used to just saying stuff off the top of my head, and got to a point where it's like, because I sent the video out to Figgy Fig, Landry Locker, a few people. And Landry, shout out to Landry. He was a real asshole in critique to my video.
Nice.
But that's his vibe. Like, and I loved it. I loved someone that, he was like,
he was up front,
and he kept it 100, and he did his thing. And he was like, "Look, dude, you had this wrong and this wrong and this is wrong." And, and they're minor details, but to anybody that's a fan, they're like, "Hey man, that's wrong." Well, actually, and then he's not wrong. Like at some point they're going to be like, "Hey man, I don't mind the channel, but he's always wrong about his facts or stuff, anything like that." So, I just wanted to get better at it. And I am almost at 5 years.
Nice.
February would be the 5th year. And I'm on the road to 10,000 subscribers. So
there you go. There it is, man.
It's been a slow journey, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun though.
Would you say consistency has been the key for you?
Big time. Yeah. Consistency is the key, because I did it when I first started the channel. I did it for like a good 2 weeks. First video had like 400 views or something, and the next few videos were like 20 views or lower. And I was like, okay, this is weird. This is different. First video did well. What's going on? And then I just stopped, because I was like, oh well, I don't have a camera, I don't have lighting, I don't have all this stuff, so I just stopped. And I stopped for a long period of time. Like I say it's 4 years, but really it's like 3 years, maybe 3.5. Because I stopped for a good 6-month period, and then I just was like, Danny, which is another friend of mine, was like, "Hey, why don't you start it back up? I'll edit videos for you for the meantime." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I just started doing it back up with the camera on my laptop or my phone. Started doing videos again. Rockets talk. They were in the playoffs. It was James Harden and Chris Paul. That was my first video back. They were facing the Thunder. And that was my first video back. And I put a little edit. I used to know how to make these simple meme edits, And Steve Carroll from The Office drives up.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Brittany, bitch.
It's Brittany. Yep.
And I'm back. And never stopped since.
That's good. There you go. So it is consistency and just obviously staying in tune with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Big time.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about some recent. I mean, it's not big news, because I think every Texans fan already kind of knew that. But obviously it obviously is not said when it happens, and it's until later. So Bill O'Brien, I think was in an interview. Bill O'Brien, in case for those that you don't know, he's hired up in Boston College now or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And so he kind of mentioned that he regrets taking the general manager position while he was coaching the team. And as soon as I saw that line, I was like, no shit. Like, seriously, like everybody figured here it was such a horrible idea. Like, it was Bill Belichick-esque of him to actually.
The opposite of Bill Belichick.
But it was the opposite of Bill Belichick. Only one Bill can do that, and that was obviously Bill Belichick. But, dude, that, to me, and it's funny because as you listen more to the interview, like, you could tell that he wants to mention Jack Easterby, but he doesn't. He says like him but he never fully name drops Jack Easterby in the conversation. So
more to this point, he who shall not be named.
Yeah, it's like Voldemort. Yeah, exactly. So it was crazy. Just relive like now that the Texans are past that. It was kind of crazy how it just came back. And now he's like, I don't like almost being victim, like almost like a victim here. Like, I didn't want to do this and it's not who I really am. And I'm like, bro, I was just as a fan thinking to myself, you're a big reason why DeAndre Hopkins isn't a Texan anymore, And so that was my take on it. I just kind of looked, I just read it and I was just like, this is BS. I don't care for it, but obviously as a Texan fan, it's almost like a little bit of PTSD that comes through you. You listen to it and you're like, oh, let's see what more we can find out. And coincidentally, I think Randall Cobb was in another interview that was kind of almost talking about the same stuff. That was
years of therapy right there.
Yeah, like the red flags. And he's like, I'm just glad I was back with my boys right after. So Harley, what were your thoughts on that after hearing the Bill O'Brien stuff, man?
Touch up on the Randall Cobb stuff. His first red flag should have been the contract they gave him.
Yes.
I mean, come on. That should have been your first red flag. With that being said, Bill O'Brien, I thought was at the beginning, I was like, oh, you know what? He sounds a little apologetic, like, oh, man, I forgive and forget, right? Like maybe not forget, but just a little forgiveness, And I was like, I appreciate it, B.O.B. You got me feeling nice.
Yeah.
Until he made the comment about the GM part.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? Dude. You had me. I was like, oh, wait a minute, you sleazebag. You told us. You fired Brian Gaine. You wanted all the power. You wanted all the control. Oh, I didn't want all that. I didn't want all of that, man. That's not what I wanted to do. No. Don't Sour Patch Kids me. Don't sour and sweet. Don't sweet sour me up, man. Nah, I don't want that. Like, be real, man. Just be real. He was being real. Don't cut it dry like that, man. And that's what ultimately got me like, you know what? It's still FBOB. That's what it is, man. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that last thing. Yeah. Just be honest. I liked Randall Cobb's interview. He was honest.
Yes.
He was straight. He was, talked a little bit about everything. And it was a very interesting interview.
Yeah, like to go back to piggyback on what you said I think his actual quote was, I didn't really enjoy being the GM. I didn't enjoy negotiating contracts in some aspects. I lost relationships with some of the guys I was coaching. My opinion, there's very few guys in the history of football that we can ever be coaching GM simultaneously, and they're the greatest of greats. I feel like I'm a good coach. I know how to evaluate talent, but I shouldn't be negotiating contracts and things like that. So in the end, that was a mistake by me, and I really wish I didn't do that, to be honest with you. I'm like, I don't know how much of that. Right. I know how much of that I bought. On the comment section, it says B.O.B. was a decent coach, but he shouldn't have been GM. Exactly. Said, nah, he wanted the power. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
This is true, but hey, we got Miko. That's all that matters. It is true. That is true. Oh wait, I think I missed one of your. I missed a comment by Brandon Hollum. So if you had to put Easterby and Bill O'Brien as the heads of any NFL franchise, which one would you pick?
The Cowboys.
Nah, Jaguars.
Yeah, it's a torn one for me. I would, I'm leaning Cowboys because when I was a kid in Madden, I used to always move them to Canada. I always did.
Now.
Yeah, like, you know what, man? You get your ass out of the States. You know what I mean? But
Only
I
fun.
used to do that. But I mean, I'm also, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind Tennessee Titans.
There you go.
We might get our colors back.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
So did you at the time? One point that O'Brien, to go back to this really quick, O'Brien did say, but we made some good decisions too. We traded some top picks for Laramie Tunsil. Now let me ask you, let's go back really quick. Did you like the trades that they did for Laramie Tunsil? Were you okay with that, or did you think we gave up a little too much?
That's tough. It's like mixed feelings. It's kind of tough because 2020 hindsight.
Yeah.
Initially, I just don't like giving up that many draft picks. It literally set up a lot of success for the Miami Dolphins.
It did.
Like, I mean, the butt of the joke is that they're going to make a statue for Laramie Tunsil, a la how the Texans will make the statue for Lovie Smith.
Yes.
So, the memes and the jokes of that is hilarious. But, excuse me, when it first came out, I was like, I didn't really like it initially, but I did like that we were getting a franchise left tackle. But
Yeah.
I just ultimately thought that the return was insane for me. You could have looked at, a tackle in the draft, or you could have done, there was other options that it felt very like, oh, I got to panic and figure something out, and that was his panic move, I guess.
Yeah, what was it? The Texans gave up a 2020 first round pick, 2021 first round pick, and a 2021 second round pick, along with Jason Bordemosi and offensive lineman Julian Davenport. I mean, those two, I'm like, but at least the draft picks were.
I mean, especially considering how those drafts turned out after we got Tunsil, it was just.
Yeah. I mean, and to go back to what I think it was Jalen Johnson. Hey, we got D'Amico now, and so I think that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, it played out, in our favor in the end, but that 3-year window where we were just abysmal, and it was just kind of having to force yourself to watch the games on Sunday. Like, you sit in like, is there something else I could be doing with my life right now? Like, I don't know, mow the lawn, read a book. Because it was bad football. It was hard. It was a hard product to watch. It was hard to root for them.
Yeah,
which is hard to say as a fan, but like it's the honest truth. It was very hard to root for them. They were class of ineptitude.
Comments said same mixed feelings. Gave up a lot of draft capital, but at the same time, Tunsil been top left tackle for us in the past 5 years. Yeah, that's the thing too. Like, yes, you get the false starts, but if you can protect my quarterback, I'm willing to, get all the false starts you want, but protect CJ Stroud. And so I agree with that one. I think, yes, it was a lot of draft capital, but he has been the top 5 left tackle. Like, there's no argument there. And again, you can't complain about the guy, being able to cover and protect CJ Stroud. Like, that should be like top tier, number one important thing right there. So I don't know. I guess in the end, you could say maybe it's worth it. I would say it's worth it. Now, the way it's played out, I think now it's worth it.
Yeah, after a couple of years of therapy, yeah, it's totally worth it.
What did you say earlier, Harley? Forgive and forget.
Yeah. I think I could forgive. I can definitely forget. Yeah, I could do that again.
God forgives. I don't. I will never forgive O'Brien. I don't care how it's turned out. I won't forgive him.
Oh, yeah.
That was a rough couple of years.
Yeah. All right. So another guy that I want to talk about real quick. Okay. So, hey, Harley. So before we go to how do you call it? Our friend Green.
Kenyon
Green. I appreciate that. Kenyon Green. I want to ask you something that I've been asking like all our guests, and I'm trying to get everybody's opinions on it. Are you now obviously second year? We asked Tyler Milner last week this, and he gave us a pretty good answer. Are you in any way concerned about a regression for CJ Stroud, knowing that there is more film on him this season? Do you think there's going to be anything that does anything bother you or concern you at all about CJ Stroud?
Absolutely not.
Good.
Okay. I reacted to a video with Louis Riddick, former GM guy interviewed here with the Houston Texans what seems like a long time ago. But he talked about the year 2 regression, if there was any, for CJ Stroud, and he said no. Like there's just he said there's no way, because of what he did. Like he didn't play like a rookie quarterback last year.
Right.
He was in MVP conversations. Like, yeah, he started a rookie, but he let the rest of the league know, like, hey, I'm an MVP candidate, and he did his thing, and he was rocking and rolling with them Texans and doing his stuff with D'Amico Ryans and left, right, left with Tank Dell and doing his thing. It was absolutely fun to watch. And I'm telling you, I just can't see it. I really can't.
Yeah.
And the way he's wired, what we've seen in podcasts, and I know it sounds like yapping, and it sounds to some outside the fan base that he's a little too cocky and arrogant. If that's what they want to believe, then go right on ahead.
It's confidence.
I love it.
It's confidence.
Exactly.
Isn't that what you want on your quarterback? Like confidence.
I love it.
Yeah.
We've never been in this kind of state as a fandom. Like, let's not shy away from the expectations. Let's not shy away from the hype. Let's not shy away from the smoke. And I don't give a damn about being a villain. I love it because guess what? I'm an Astros fan. Right? And we've been villains.
AWO, baby.
Villains for quite some time. Yeah. All right. You post an Astros video on Instagram or TikTok, and there is at least one comment. Trash cans, cheaters, Jose Altuve, and all of the above. And I love it. I love being the villain. Let me rock that NWO shit. Let me go out there with my black cape, and I don't care. Let's go ahead and let's roll some heads, man. CJ Stroud's going to do his thing year 2.
He's exactly. Tyler Milner last week gave us a really good answer too. He said, there is film on him, but guess what? Film works both ways. There's also, a way for, obviously CJ Stroud is going to be coming in more experienced. There was film on, what was it on how do you call it, on Joe Burrow, all these guys, as well, and they came out pretty well. So honestly, I agree with you. I don't think there's a regression at all either that's going to happen. And I wanted to ask you that because you hear it so often. So obviously it's like, to me, I'm like, no, but I ask everybody just to make sure. Rios, give your take again on why you don't believe there's going to be a regression at all.
Well, I think with him, the things that stood out about him was things you can't really teach, like his leadership, his poise in the pocket, his accuracy. Like he didn't Harley mentioned, he didn't look like a rookie last year. He started off a little bit slow those first 2 games, but week 3 he just got the ball rolling, and it was a joy to watch last season. He didn't look like a rookie, didn't talk like a rookie, didn't act like a rookie. Like the moment never seemed too big for him. And now, in the offseason, he's talking his shit, and hey, I love it. Like
it's great.
Because he has high expectations for himself as well. Like, hey, I did this market year, but you know what? I can do better. I can, read defense a little bit better, get the ball a little bit quicker, make better decisions. And if he can improve on last season, I mean, it's Texans fans, man. I'm just pumped.
Sky's the limit too. I mean, like I think I say this all the time, Brios, when we're on. Like look at all the weapons they've also added for him, dude. Like at this point, it's just like, who do I choose to throw the ball to? You got Joe Mixon, who can catch the ball. You got how do you call it? Kate Stover now, which you added a tight end, Dalton Schultz. You have obviously arguably 3 top receivers that could go for 1,000 yards each, and so obviously it's like, who do I choose to? Who can I just throw the ball to? So you, not only that, but you've surrounded him, and you surrounded him with other with receivers who can catch the ball. Somebody's got to be open. Let me see. Let's go to the Oh, Houston Stressens wrote, by the way, our guest next week, Houston Stressens wrote, CJ is your typical rookie quarterback when it comes to the sophomore slump. He wins with his mind, not legs, like a lot of rookies do. That's right. Brandon Hollum said other teams have film on Stroud being protected by Ridiculous. Yes.
Oh God.
Oh God. Yeah, that was. I held my breath. Yeah.
It's funny. I'm like, this dude had a revolving door at offensive line for the first half of the season.
Jeff Baker wrote, last season CJ was a teaser. CJ's about to go off. Agreed. Houston Stressens wrote, he's in second year, first full off season, second in new scheme. Added Diggs, Mixon, and had an all backup O-line last year. Yep. Jason Ibarra, Texans, let's freaking go swarm. I'm being cautious on that one.
Always swarming, baby.
Always swarm. And there you go. That's right. Houston Stress is going to be on next week with us. Appreciate Joe. All right. So another guy that I wanted to talk about. So Kenyon Green, right? Kenyon Green. Last season it looked like when you're on the Twitter stuff, you can kind of like you see who gets all the hate and gets all the love, of course. So Kenyon Green wasn't getting a lot of love from a lot of Texans fans last season, and they were hyping him up. Hey, we're gonna see what Kenyon Green's about this season, whatever, because he was getting manhandled on his first year horribly. So like, okay, time to step it up and see what you got. And then he gets hurt in the was it OTAs or off somewhere in the offseason. He didn't even get to start the season. I can't remember. What was it? Preseason. Oh, preseason. Yeah.
Yes.
So he got hurt. Yeah, and so we didn't really get to see anything. Now that he's had a full, according to I think D'Amico was talking about it. 1 second, I have the quote here. Yeah, he said he went up to Oregon. It was Casario. He went up to Oregon and worked with a group for about 4 or 5 weeks. So it was just kind of different stimulus, kind of a different training. I think so he's been training or whatnot, and he said, oh, there it is. Casario also noted that this is his first opportunity to have a full offseason of training. The left guard dealt with knee injuries that led up to his rookie campaign, and he had arthroscopic knee surgery early following the offseason. He eventually worked his way back and participated in training camp before obviously suffering a shoulder injury in the Texans' final preseason game. So, what do we think our expectations are for Kenyon Green?
Ooh, man, I like Kenyon Green. I do. I'm in the minority, I guess, when it comes to a lot of the Kenyon Green hate. When I look at his first year, man, it was tough. You know, a lot of welcome to the NFL rookie moments.
Right.
He went through a slew of defensive tackles in a stretch of games where it was, here's Jonathan Allen, here's Ed Oliver. I think it was the Bills that year. I could be wrong, but I know it was Jonathan Allen for sure. I know he's facing Jeffrey Simmons, Danico Autry, who's and now a Texan, thank God. There's plenty of other guys that I know I can't think of off the top of my head right now. But they ate his lunch. And you know, it was tough. And we all kind of saw like going into his rookie year, like, he would benefit from like, you know, losing some weight, adding it back in muscle. You know, he's got some baby fat to him. Last year, you saw, at least I did at the draft party, I saw a change in how his body looked like. Now, it could have gotten better, but I could see he was working in the offseason. And then, you know, it is what it is. He had the injury against the Saints in the preseason game. Now we go into year 3, and, you know, there's one thing for the local media guys to be like, wow, Kenyon Green, the body transformation looks great.
Right.
And I love hearing it from those guys, but I absolutely love freaking hearing it from D'Amico Ryans.
Yes.
And that's where I go, oh, even D'Amico's noticed this, and he complimented him heavily about how he's changed his body, how he looks. And in that clip that you mentioned with Nick Casario, you know, Nick has him penciled in, emphasis on penciled.
Yep.
All right. No one is the starter right now at left guard. Kenyon Green has to earn it. I think he will. I think he, you know, lives up to that 15th pick overall, especially this year, if healthy, hopefully, knock on wood. If not, I mean, you got Jarrett Patterson, who played well for you at the center position, really good games, played solid enough for you, can slide over to left guard. You also got Kendrick Green, who a lot of fans forget about, got traded over here from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everyone crapped on him and was like, this guy's a bum. He was playing fullback for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. Come over here and 0 sacks,
Yeah.
a team effort of 0 sacks. against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense where you had not only Kendrick Green, but Austin Deculus was also in that game as well. Shout out to that offensive line for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Bobby Slowick schematically helping the offensive line as well. There's a clip of John Mechie setting up a block and blocking TJ Watt head on. Like that's buying into the system. That's buying into D'Amico Ryans and what he preaches for the swarm mentality. So I like that we have options. If plan A don't work, we got a plan B. And I have no problem in going to a plan B. If Kenyon, hey, buddy, if it don't work out, it is what it is. But I do like he worked out with Dominican Sue. He's been in Texas his whole life. He's been Tascasita, Eagles here in high school. I mean, it's good to step out of your comfort zone. Went to Oregon, worked out with Dominican Sue. I mean, that's a badass dude.
Yeah,
borderline dirty player. Bless you, borderline dirty player. Like it don't get a lot. Like you're gonna learn a lot from Dominican Sue and company. And I can't wait to see what happens on the field. That's the next step. Let me see it translate onto the field.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Rios, what about you, bud? What do you think about Kenyon Green?
I'm not one of those people that really hates on him too much. We actually met his uncle at the Cowboys and Texans game a couple years ago season. He's a pretty cool guy. I think the injuries have been unfortunate. Can't really assess, outside of his rookie season, you haven't seen a whole lot of them. But this rookie year, like Harley mentioned, he was getting his lunch money took, his snack money took, his food money, his family's money was taken. Like, bro, it was bad. It was so bad. He snacked his own quarterback.
Yeah.
Like he literally got pushed into sacking Davis Mills. I remember that, but I was like, bro. So hopefully this offseason that he's fully healthy, he's able to fully train. I think he earns a starting spot in the I think
I remember that.
We all remember that one. That was good.
dirty play.
Dirty.
I love it though.
That was a memorable game. That's I think that's the one where that was a Thanksgiving Detroit game, right? That's the one where
Justin Forsett.
The Justin Forsett knee, and then like everybody got all pissed off because the refs said
that wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah,
how did they get that wrong? I have no clue, but that wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah, that wasn't a touchdown.
Jim Schwartz threw a flag on a play that was already going to be reviewed or something like that. I think that was
there was a challenge. He threw a flag, or he threw his challenge after a flag.
Because I think all the scoring plays got reviewed, and then he threw a challenge flag and kind of negated that in a way.
Yeah.
And
then,
oh man.
Yeah,
wow.
That was, going back to Kenyon Green, I think I like the comments from the coaching staff, saying how he's improved and the work he's put in the offseason. Hopefully, we can actually see it on the field this year, and because he's coming up due for an extension. This is the time to show what that he was worth. That first round pick, because the guys are coming after him. They've been outplaying him, so this is the year that he's really got to show up. Because if not, there's at least 2 or 3 guys right behind them ready to take that left guard spot.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's exactly. No, I look forward to it too. I don't really get the Kenyon Green hate, and I feel like I'm just piggybacking off of you right there, Harley. But yeah, he did get introduced to the NFL. He got welcomed, and he got welcomed by some tough defenses. I mean, what do you expect? So honestly. Yeah, I feel bad for the kid. He's had bad luck since the beginning. But this is a year where, like Rio said, we got to we got to see what he's got. And at this point, it's just like it's almost like it's just speculation, really. Like Harley, you said you're hearing a lot of great things from D'Amico. You know what? Honestly, what better than the source itself, right? D'Amico.
Yeah.
So that I think as a fan, it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe something's going to click here. So, this is something else added to this Texans team that we're all completely optimistic about this season. All right. There's another article there that I saw here by Toro Times. All right. So as we all know, Trevor Lawrence's contract got extended. Hold your laughter. He got extended. So, the headline on it said, Trevor Lawrence just made things super awkward for the Houston Texans. and CJ Stroud. Okay. At this point, I think there was a graphic that compared a lot of like Trevor Lawrence's accomplishment, and they're all very similar to what was it, Daniel Jones from the Giants.
Yes.
And I think he's right now Trevor
Gardner
Lawrence,
Minshew,
big
Sam
pay
Howell.
somehow. Yeah. So at this point, I think I'm sure I get the headline on like it made it awkward. At this point, it's like how much of it does, obviously we all know CJ Stroud's going to get paid. Like that is once. So that's why another argument that I make that the Texans are in win now mode is for that reason, because you're trying to get in as much as you can before you have to extend CJ. So I think at that point, like with this Trevor Lawrence paycheck that he got or whatever, this bag that he got, are we all a little concerned about CJ and the payday that we really have to? I mean, I'm sure they'll do what they can, but man, I'm looking at CJ and I'm thinking to myself, that's going to be a payday. That for sure is going to be a payday. If Trevor Lawrence is getting this much, I'm wondering what CJ's bag is just going to look like at this point. Because what Lawrence is getting, what, $55 million a year? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Just about.
See, I don't care. just get the wheelbarrows, get Matcher Smack to fly in with a freaking jet, wheelbarrows, whatever. Stuff the mattresses with money. I don't care.
Go fund me.
Yeah, man. Like
the mayor, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. Give him part ownership. He could rename the stadium CJ Stadium. I don't care.
Do the messy deal. Give him some stock.
Yeah, man. I don't care. Like, give him whatever. I'm about to hit a soft point here for Texans fans. I am not losing a quarterback.
Nope.
I'm not losing one. I am not doing that. This is not happening. $1 billion. Like, I mean, I don't care what it takes. You are paying this man. This man deserves every penny because this year is going to be absolutely amazing. We have high expectations. The players themselves have high expectations. We heard Tank Dell mention Super Bowl aspirations. We've heard Nico Collins mention Super Bowl aspirations. We've heard Will Anderson kind of imply the Super Bowl expectations. And this is what it is. Like, it is what it is. Right now, let's live with the rookie contract. Let's be excited about the guys we can bring in for another year, maybe.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the restructuring and all that good jazz. What's really helpful, though, is Daniel Hunter's contract is a short contract.
Yes.
Stephon Diggs, it's really going to be just this year. I don't see him coming back next year unless we were just like knocking on the door for a Super Bowl and he loves everything about Houston, which a lot of athletes, coaches love Houston once they get here, i.e. Jeff Van Gundy, and there's numerous other people here that stay here in Houston. So, who knows? But there is a lot of suitable contracts that you could be moving off of in the future or restructure. You could restructure Laramie Tunsil again because the bank of Laramie Tunsil is always there and it's open. Titus Howard, you could restructure. Hell, you could maybe even, if you wanted to, maybe cut some bait with Titus Howard. I don't know how the dead cap works there in the future for him, but with the addition of Blake Fisher, it definitely makes you wonder, what's going on here?
It was lurking. Yeah, that one caught me a little bit by surprise too. I was like, okay, whatever. We're doing that. But yeah,
like the Undertaker's behind that one dude. Just
AJ Styles.
AJ
Yeah,
Styles.
he's like lurking right behind him. No, 100%. Yeah, the Blake Fisher one. That one was like, That one made me kind of turn my head a little bit. I was like, okay, maybe the guy for the future, like you said. You never know. All right, another thing before we go. One thing that I was worried about because I'm such a big fan his rookie season, Dameon Pierce, right? Dameon Pierce, obviously, he went on record. I think it was after that Browns game, the one that the Texans lost last season, during the season, and it was he talked about how this was, obviously a new offense for him, and obviously the offense was a bit much for him. It was a big load for him this season. So now obviously he's going to have an off season, and then even like you said, Harley, how hearing from D'Amico makes you feel better. D'Amico's been saying things like I want a 1-2 punch, with he sees a 1-2 punch with Joe and Damian Pierce. When he said that, and I brought it up on our last show, when he said that, it reminded me of like 2011's Aaron Foster, Ben Tate. Like that's how they're trying to do it or whatever, to simulate that or emulate that as much as they can. I mean, who knows? But because Aaron Foster was a beast himself. Aaron Foster we were all spoiled with Aaron Foster. Yeah. So not saying that will happen, but man, that would be amazing just to have something like that or replicate something like that. But again, hearing it from D'Amico, all the good things that they've said about Damian Pierce, him and Nick Caserio, kind of gives you a little bit of optimism looking forward to Damian Pierce in his role in this. Obviously he's a great guy. Everybody loves Damian Pierce. Great attitude, but obviously it's still a business in the NFL. So it begs the question, will this is this really it for Damian Pierce? Like we'll see obviously what happens this season. Do you feel optimistic about Damian Pierce coming into this 2024 season, Harley?
Oof. Look, I like hearing that he looks a little bit lighter from local media members, and according to his OTAs and mini camp, he looks a little bit lighter. This is a full year now learning the scheme. He talked about, what you mentioned already, and how it was tough for him to grasp the scheme last year. You're hoping that he has figured out how to translate his kick return game to the run game, because where in the world Damian Pierce, not Damian Priest, WWE champion, by the way. Shout out Damian Priest. Damian Pierce, if he could figure out how to translate that special teams abilities to the run game, I mean, hey, we're going to be cooking. But I'm very I'm a little bullish on the running back group for the Houston Texans. I like Jawar Jordan. Mel Kiper is very high on Jawar Jordan. I like it. It's not bad. I feel like the Houston Texans still could have addressed the running back position a little bit earlier, or hell, even double dip into it and just create more competition. Is it kind of pushing Damian Pierce out the door? No, it's competition. You want to stay in, you outperform the other one. If you can't outperform a 6th-round rookie or whoever else you draft, like that's where I have an issue with. Because I look at the Miami Dolphins and I'm like, okay, hi, Devon Achane. Hi, Raheem Mostert. Oh, let's trade up and go get Jalen Wright out of Tennessee. Fantastic get from the Miami Dolphins. Someone that runs with Mike McDaniels, a Shanahan Kubiak system. I go look at San Francisco 49ers. They got the best running back in football, offensive player of the year, Madden 25 cover, Christian McCaffrey. And they said, you know what? That's not enough. We got him, and I forgot. I think his name's Elijah Mitchell. No, that's the Ravens guy. Is that the Ravens guy? Yeah, I think it's Elijah Mitchell. He was hurt for them. D'Amico Ryans mentioned him a few last year, actually, when he was picked in the 6th round. He played well for them when healthy. They got Christian McCaffrey. I mean, it's been awesome for them ever since. And they said, hey, you know what? Screw it. We're going to trade up and get Isaac Guerrero, running back out of Louisville, who is arguably the best zone runner out of the NFL draft. They put him in what? A fantastic zone scheme for Gary Kubiak Shanahan system. Who better than Kyle Shanahan to find a running back? I'm just a little like, I wish we could have done more with the running back position. Now, Damian Pierce can shut me up and do his thing on the field. I'll shut up then. I have no problem with it. Jawar Jordan maybe outperforms, what his draft positioning was, and maybe he takes over the 2nd spot. Who knows? 6th-round running backs perform very well in this scheme historically. You go all the way back to Terrell Davis. You go there's quite a few more. I know there's more. Alfred Morris was an undrafted guy, Washington. And so there's many running backs I could continue. But yeah, could be worse. We could have signed Zeke.
Right.
Thank God we didn't.
We didn't. But, if you're Dallas, you got to bring the band back together.
Hey, man, you got to do something. I don't know what Dallas is doing at the running
I
back.
don't think a lot of people do either. I don't even think Jerry Jones knows what he's doing over there.
My goodness.
All in. All in.
It feels like they're setting up Dak for failure a little bit there.
So,
you know what? We don't want to pay him this other money. We're going to give him no running back. You either have Ezekiel Elliott's fat ass, or you get to have this 5-foot midget that we got at running back. The dude's shorter than me. All right. I'm 5'8" on a good day. Okay. I mean, that dude, Deuce Vaughn. I mean, come on, man. What is it? JJ Watt said I eat burritos bigger than you.
Burritos bigger than you was that Rice?
To Ray Rice.
Ray Rice.
I mean, I probably take shits bigger than Deuce Vaughn. I mean, come on, man.
Right. That's right.
Exactly. I respect it.
Yeah, they want to pay Dak $6
million
because that's basically what the next quarterback contract is going to look like in the 60s.
Yes.
No, exactly.
They're going to 60s.
I did want to go back to a comment that I believe Jalen Johnson wrote, and he says the coaching staff seems to have a lot of confidence in him in the RB2 spot. It really is for him to lose. I think, there's a possibility. I think Rios, you might have said this too. That position, you wouldn't be surprised if you saw Jar Jordan just go up and take that number 2 spot this season also.
Yeah, I had mentioned, I see them having, Dameon Pierce starting as, the running back 2 in, preseason, and him probably losing his job by week 1. Because I think Gerard Jordan is a better scheme fit because he's one of the better zone runners in college,
right?
Just like Finger was, and I think he's a better scheme fit. And I think Pierce is going to be mainly our kick returner.
Yeah. So like did you mention it also like a Steve Slayton kind of
it's
situation?
Steve Slayton trajectory. Like Steve Slayton, 1,000-yard runner as a rookie, came out of nowhere. By year 2, returning kicks.
Yeah.
Year 3, nowhere to be seen.
Yep. Exactly.
I mean, I hope I'm wrong because I do like Pierce, but
I do like Pierce too.
Me too.
You know what they say about
his jersey?
It has a way of repeating itself.
I know that's the bad part. But yeah, no, I'm honestly hoping Pierce gets it going. I really would like to see that him be a part of that, and be a part of this system, and just hopefully he cracks it. But I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. It does feel good that the coaching staff and Nick Caserio are pulling for him, and obviously they believe in him. If not, I don't think, they believe in him. So honestly, I'm pulling for him really quick. But let me see. It says, not gonna lie, a little jealous of the Lions being able to basically have 2 1,000-yard. Yeah, that
right,
100%. That is true.
The Lions had a hell of a draft last year. You got Sam Laporta, you got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Lions are cooking, dude. Lions are not a team to be taken lightly, honestly.
Not the same Lions team anymore, man.
No, it's not that. It's not your. What are they?
They were close to beating the Niners in the championship game.
They should have.
They should have. For real.
They should have beat them. But Dan Campbell's like, "Hey, we ain't kicking no field goals around here. Go for it.
Go for it."
Too much gut checks there with him, man.
Right, sir, Madden says kick the ball. Nah.
Ask Madden. Who the hell's John Madden anyway?
Yeah, John Madden. Who? Yeah. Hey, man. Harley, I want to thank you, man, for joining us today, man. It was great having a conversation with you, and obviously, taking the time out of your day to just come and hang out with us, man. I appreciate that, and obviously, for our good friend, Chris Royal over there, of course. So. Aside from that, just to check out Harley, please follow him up at TheLead_HOU. I believe that's your Instagram, YouTube, and X account, correct?
Yeah, and TikTok.
And TikTok as well. So
yes.
Follow him up at TheLead_HOU. And of course, if you liked what you saw today, if this is your first time seeing us, come check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at JustFans22. Follow us on our Instagram account at JustFansPod. And of course, this is our follow Emrios at Emrios281, me at Carlos Talks 24. But if you want to follow our X account for our channel, it's at JustFans22, just like our YouTube channel there. Guys, thank you so much for checking us out. Appreciate y'all. If you're new to our channel, appreciate you joining along. Hope to see you back again. And that's going to be it for this week. Harley, what do you got coming on next week for you, or on your show soon?
Let's see. I'm going to be having Cole Thompson on Wednesday live at 9 p.m. Cole Thompson covers the Texans. That should be a lot of fun. I have a few other guests that are still in limbo, but we'll see if I can make it happen and see what happens there. I'm also going to be having Apollo Josh, the producer for Apollo Media. He will be on talking some Astros with me. Trying to get back into the Astros content. I do pretty well with it, so need to get back into it, do my thing with them, and that's basically it, man. I'm on the road to 10K. I'm riding this wave. I'm happy. I'm excited for it, and I'm really excited for training camp.
There you go. That's what's up, man. I say I'm excited for training camp. So hope to see you out there, Harley, at training camp, and we got to have you back on our show, man. Appreciate you for joining us, man.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate y'all having me on.
No problem, man. All right, that's going to be it for us, guys. Again, like I said, if you liked our show, check us out at JustFans22. Subscribe to our channel. We're nowhere near where Harley is, but hey, we're trying to make our way up there eventually. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it for us. Thank you so much. Harley, don't leave just yet, but we're going to end the show. See y'all later. See y'all next week with Houston Stressins. That's right. Are you blessing or are you stressing? See y'all next week, guys. Next Monday at 8 p.m. Central. Peace.
Southwest A-League, Texas, throw down here and it's so infectious. We ride for the Houston Astros, Rockets, Dynamo, and them Texans. If you ain't never been down here, but rule number one, you gon' respect us. Just fans in my speakers, new one drop, they bout to bless us. I might right through the SWAT, playing just fans right through your spot. Look, and I don't know what you thought, but right here, dog, we gon' rep the squad. Got HU with my